Hey everybody, behind me, 2016 Ford F150. We're gonna be replacing the transmission fluid and filter. There's no drain plug on this. Thanks Ford, this is gonna be messy. Let's crawl under. First thing we wanna do is remove our skid plate. There should be 4 8mm bolts. Now we'll slide this out of the way. To remove our transmission pan, we have a series of 8mm bolts. There's 2 right above the exhaust. We'll get those with a 1/4 inch shallow socket. I'll do that first. Break it loose and get the rest of it by your fingers. All right. Then there's one on the other side. All right, got that one. The rest should be easy with an electric ratchet and extension. So there's one more just above the exhaust that I'm using a ratcheting wrench for, just to break loose. There we go. See if I can get my electric ratchet on it and buzz it out. Oh yeah. So just needed the wrench to break it loose. All right, we are dripping. Let me move out of the way and get my pan in a better spot. I don't want to drop any of my bolts in the pan now that it's full of fluid. I just have one bolt still in. Just gonna let that drip a little more, maybe back it out a smidge more. Gonna let that drip for a little while. All right, gonna hold on to it. Get this last one out. There we go. And we need to drop the front so the back can rest on the exhaust. That's fine. There we go, drop the front down. Oh, perfect. Filter just fell out in the pan. There's the filter. Tip the pan over and get all the fluid out. There we go. All right, have some rags ready. Just gonna wipe the pan so I don't drip it all over. All right, nice. Pan prep is pretty easy. We got 2 magnets. Just pull one off at a time, wipe it really good, and look for any large debris chunks. The fuzz that comes on it, that's pretty normal. We're just looking for any signs of metal chunks. Looks pretty good. I'll set that aside. Oh, my battery died, so we got both magnets and we're just cleaning out the inside of the pan. Getting all that old fluid and debris out. All right, nice. Wipe around where the gasket goes. Want to make sure we don't scratch that surface. I'm just using a rag is all you need. Now on the pan it says the gasket is reusable. You just have to inspect it really good. Make sure it's still pliable. It's mostly metal and it has some rubber on the inside. Make sure that rubber's pliable and it still protrudes and there's no nicks, and you can reuse it. Or you can use the gasket that comes with your new filter. Either way is up to you. Next we're gonna go underneath and install our new filter. We want to put a little bit of transmission fluid on our O-ring and make sure the old O-ring off the old filter came out and isn't stuck in the bore inside the transmission. Top back under. Before we forget, we'll put our magnets back on. Now let's go under. So we'll get a little bit of transmission fluid, put it on our O-ring. We'll get this to fit in. It should just drop in like that. And then you'll feel it. There we go. Real quick, we'll just wipe our transmission just to clean off our mating surface. It looks like it wants to fall out, but it's in there pretty good. Now we'll take our pan, get it in there. There we go, start a bolt. There we go. Now we'll just go around, start all of them, and then suck them down. Just snug. Crisscross pattern. These are torqued to 80 inch-pounds. If you want to know the foot-pounds, you can divide by 12. Then cross. Because there's no drain plug on this transmission, I definitely don't want to overfill it. So we're going to measure the fluid that came out of it, and that's what we'll put back in it to start with. All right, it's coming out. So that is 4 full quarts and a little extra. So let's start with 4 quarts. On the passenger side, right above the transmission pan, is our fill plug. Now it is good practice to break loose our fill plug first before draining our fluid. just to make sure we can fill it back up. I got a little ahead of myself this time, so hopefully we can break it loose. It's a 19 millimeter. There we go. Twist that off. Now there's a dipstick under here. The dipstick may come out with the plug or it may separate. So no dipstick on the plug, but the dipstick's left behind. There, just like that. Of course, you want to make sure your surrounding area is clean before removing our plug. Let me pull you out and show you how we're going to fill it. We're going to use Mercon LV with a little fluid pump. And that's it. We'll just pump away 4 quarts. Bring our hose up, put it in the transmission. There we go, just like that. Then we'll start pumping away. All right, that's 4. Then we'll pull out our tube. All right. Nice. Before we can check our transmission fluid, you have to get it up to temperature. So we'll go ahead, put our dipstick back in, put our plug back in. We're just gonna snug that up. All right, let's start it up. For our next step, we need a scan tool that can read transmission fluid temperature. So we'll go into powertrain control module, read data stream. I'm gonna go down to transmission fluid temp, okay. Right now we are around 120 degrees. We want this between 206 degrees and 215 degrees Fahrenheit. So we'll keep running it. We'll shift it through the gears. If you put it in reverse, foot on the brake, give it a little gas, watch the RPMs go up, about 2 grand. Hold it there for about 5 seconds or so. Let off, let it idle for about 10 seconds. You can put it in drive and do the same thing. About 5 seconds or so. Let it idle for a little bit. And you can see our transmission fluid is starting to get warmer. We'll do that until we're in range, and then we'll go back under, pull our plug out, and check with our dipstick with the vehicle still running. Back underneath, again, the vehicle is still running. Crack this back loose. Careful, things might be hot down here, especially around the exhaust. Pull this out. Even the fill plug is a little warm. All right, wipe it off, put it in. Now there are cross hatches. We want it in those cross hatches. All right, we're still way down here. So we'll keep adding transmission fluid until we bring it up here. Let me check that again, just to be sure. Yep, we're still pretty low. We'll put our hose back in. Careful with the exhaust again. There we go. And we don't want to do too much, so we'll do just a little at a time. I think I'll put in a 1/2 quart. All right, take it out. All right, check it again. We are still a little low, so I'm gonna keep doing this, filling it up, checking it, filling it up, checking it, until we're at our desired level. And that's it. All right, there you go. That's how you can place the transmission fluid and filter on your F-150. It is a little messy and can be a challenge crawling under there, especially if you don't have a lift, but it is doable. I have links in the description for all the parts and tools used. If you have any questions, comment, post down below. We'll see you on the next one.